show starts in 3, 2, 1, go.
Good morning, CaneSport. It's August 27th, 2021. I'm Gary Ferman, the publisher of CaneSport.com, joined as always by our managing editor, Matt Shodell, as we talk about the news of the day. And the news of the day today, Matt, is, I guess, what they're calling a scrimmage out on Green Tree practice field this morning. I'm not sure it's really a scrimmage. I don't know that there's going to be a ton of full speed hitting and stuff like that in it. I think it's more a dress rehearsal for the opener where they walk through all the different scenarios that they might face up there in Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta next week against Alabama, and just fine-tune everything and make sure everything's straight. But nevertheless, it is a key moment in training camp, and I think it signals what will be the start of Alabama week, because when this team comes back together the next time, it will really be hardcore into getting ready for the Crimson Tide.
Yeah, I mean, they should have solidified their depth chart by now. They said that was going to happen after the last scrimmage. So, yeah, it should all be about, what they're going to be doing today. It should all be about, are we running the offense as fast and efficiently as we want? Are we getting the play calls sent in, as quickly as they need to be sent in? Is there confusion on either side of the ball with the calls, things like that, make sure everything's squared away, because any little mistake, a team like Alabama will just tear you apart over and over again until you correct that mistake. So you got to make sure you really have no obvious mistakes that you can figure out, but heading into that game week.
All right, so we'll have a report on the goings-on on the practice field today a little bit later in the day. So right now, let's talk about the big news, I guess, coming out of yesterday. And that was the reinstatement of Alonzo Williams. And I had prepared myself for it to go the other way. I thought it was the kind of thing that the university would agonize over just because of everything going on right now. When you look at a couple of arrests for possession of firearms, when you look at the Brian Pata, not conviction, but allegations coming to the forefront. There's just been a whole lot of things that seem to be working against Miami standing up in Alonzo Williams' corner and saying that we understand you had a problem with your girlfriend. We don't know what really happened, what didn't happen. They dropped the charges. We're going to give you another chance. But that's what they did. And, I guess you have to be happy for Avante that they did that. And, in a sense, you hope that maybe they've worked it out and that they've managed to come back together and work together as a unit, because there's no question they're counting on the money that Avante gets as a University of Miami football player to live. They're probably counting in the big picture long term on him being able to become a pro football player and make money, and that baby's well-being that's in the girlfriend's belly is obviously a part of that whole equation. Avante also has 2 other children that he's had with a previous girlfriend. So this is a complicated situation, a complicated life. And I would say, Matt, that it's in the best interest of Alonzo Williams to have the opportunity to get himself together and be part of the football team moving forward. But I'm sure he's on a short leash.
Yeah, and I mean, getting back to allegations, they were dismissed, but there are still a lot of people who think he did it. We've discussed the reasons why that would be in the past and why, someone might drop charges in this specific instance. But, because the charges were dropped, I don't think Miami had much choice. I mean, basically, it was a football player that they dismissed wrongfully for something he was cleared of. So, I mean, is that going to stand up if, let's say, he wanted to sue Miami for whatever, for right. I don't know what you would do? I mean, every year it's a renewable scholarship, but they did renew his scholarship and then took it away apparently for no reason. Like, would that really hold up? I don't think they had a choice but to take him back. And, he's going to be on a very short leash. And,
I think it helped that she wasn't seriously hurt in whatever altercation they might have had. I think that helped a lot. And, but like I said, we don't need to really debate the ins and outs or anything. I just think that it was probably for the best for everybody that Avante get this renewed chance to be a productive member of the Miami football program and move forward with his career. and hopefully take good care of his girlfriend who's having his baby, and hopefully everybody lives happily ever after there. So I think that's something that a lot of people were happy to see for a lot of different reasons, and Avante Williams will be returning to the Miami football team. All right, a few other stories that we've got this morning. Linebacker commit Justin Medlock is recruiting other players. And Matt, this has kind of like become in vogue. You know, it's like you commit to a school and then you become a recruiter for that school. How much of an impact do you think that really makes at the end of the day in recruiting, the recruiting that's being done by guys that are already on the commit list?
I mean, it makes no impact, but the guy says he's talking to 3 or 4 guys who he thinks are going to be Hurricanes. That has an impact, because they're going to tell him behind the scenes what's going on. But the funny thing is, and this is sort of unique. Usually, a kid commits, shuts it down, and that's when he starts recruiting. This kid's like, yeah, I still might take some visits. So it's great that he's locked in with Miami, but like taking visits, recruiting from Miami. I mean, obviously he's coming to Miami, but it's just kind of funny. These kids are still like talking to their coaches while they're recruiting against those schools that they're talking to. It's a little weird.
Yeah, it really is. It's it's modern day recruiting, I guess, and but it gets extremely interesting in a lot of different ways. And the other story we have this morning is equally interesting. I feel it. Miramar defensive back Darius Thomas, T-Rob. There's that name again. Seems like T-Rob is the whole recruiting office this year, but T-Rob is staying in touch with him, and Miami's keeping touch, but they haven't really made the attempt to get a commit yet, and I'm not sure if his offer is committable. He says he's being recruited by Georgia pretty hard too, and if that's the case, you would think that he'd be more of a priority for Miami. But I think right now, with the safety position being as crowded as it is, they're probably looking to only take one more, Matt, and they're waiting, I think, on Kamari Wilson from IMG.
Yeah, and this kid's waiting on an offer, just to be clear. But with Avante coming back, that certainly makes it less likely that he will wind up getting an offer. I mean, Miami may decide not to take any more safeties if they don't get Kamari. And I don't think they're going to get Kamari, by the way. So, that could just be it, But this is important. This is what I keep telling people. You've got to stay in touch with kids like this. His season's just beginning. He might look like the best safety in the world this coming season. In the old days, kids didn't get offers to those senior years. I mean, especially like offensive linemen, a lot of them, and I had a lot of conversations back there with Artijo about this. But a lot of offensive linemen don't really develop until their senior years. They haven't grown into their bodies and become athletic at that size until their senior years. And that can happen at any position. So it behooves Miami to just stay on this kid, which they're doing, which is what I wish they would do at every single position with every single Plan B kid. There's no reason not to. Just put in the time and put in the work. I mean, that's what you're getting paid the big bucks for,
Well, T-Rob's a real deal recruiter. And before we go today, I thought this would be a good opportunity to also talk about a little bit of a staff adjustment that took place within the program. And Stephen Field, the tight end coach, has had the recruiting coordinator title added to his responsibilities. And I'm not really sure what that'll end up meaning and not meaning, but I do know this. Stephen Field is one of the guys in the building that knows how to really recruit. And if he's going to get more involved in recruiting, then I think it's a power move by Manny Diaz. And I hope it has a positive impact.
Yeah, I don't really know what it means either. I mean, he's got his hands full just dealing with tight ends. But, look, he's got local connections, right? He coached at Miami Northwestern. He knows all the local coaches. So maybe it's more like he can sort of help the recruiting department in the back office, with some insight from some of his buddies down here and that sort of thing. But, these titles a lot of times are just basically as a way to say, hey, we're giving you a raise. Some of these coaches, other schools come after them. You got to give them money somehow. And you can't just say, here's a raise and not raise another position coach, who's going to be like, why are you getting more money and I'm not? Oh, I got more money because now I'm also the recruiting coordinator. I spend so much more time working now, So that's just how college football works. 2 guys got new titles, probably more money, and the other guys can't complain too much because, hey, they have another job title to the description.
Well, I think you're probably right, but I've been quietly hoping there's some significance to it because I think they can use a little bit more help. The guys in the recruiting office, they've got some good guys in there, but the program in general is struggling somewhat in recruiting. I mean, T-Rob's working magic with the DBs, but other than that, it's looking right now like the top prospects in South Florida could be defecting again this year. And, I think you got to hope that they have a good season this year and finish strong. So I don't see any negatives in Stephen Field getting that recruiting coordinator title. I hope he's allowed to make a bigger impact in the recruiting office. All right, that's going to do it for today. For Good Morning CaneSport, we hope everybody has a great weekend. We'll be back Monday morning. We've got some new additional programming things coming next week that I think people are going to enjoy. The season premiere of CaneSport Live is coming next Tuesday. And then on Wednesday, we're going to have the season premiere of a new show, and we'll be talking about that on Monday morning. So for Matt Shodell, I'm Gary Ferman. Everybody have a great weekend. We'll see you Monday morning. Goodbye, everybody.